collection types. So in the last class, we discussed some basic data types or fundamental data types like integer, character, float, string. Those all are designed to maintain some basic data types. Apart from the basic data type, there are some kind of situations are there where you maintain multiple values or the different type of data or the different structure of data. Then we have to go for collection type. So what is this? Collection types in SIFT provides three primary collection types known as array, sets, and dictionaries. So in SIFT, there are three collection types are exist. One is going to call as array, one is going to call as a set, and last one is going to call dictionary for storing collection values. Then arrays. What is the meaning by array? Array is nothing but order of collection of values. So collection of values here when we are going to define arrays in C++, what we are going to define, array is a collection of similar data type of elements. That is our definition in C and C++. Array is a collection of similar type of data types or ordered collection of similar data types. Order collection of similar data types, but in Shift, array means order collection of values. That means in C and C++, must and should we have to use similar kind of values, whereas in Shift, no need. So Shift array can be maintained combination values, generic values, any type of data. So only the condition array is a order of collection elements. What type of element means? Any type of element. You can maintain any type of elements, whatever you need according to your requirement. Then dictionary. Dictionary is a collection type where you are going to maintain unordered element with key value association. So if you remember hash map technique, we are going to use in the dictionaries. So what is a hash map technique means? Whenever you have a value, so whenever you are going to store some value, based on that particular value, it will generate a hash value. So based on that hash value, it will store in simple manner. What you have to say, in dictionaries, elements are going to store in unordered format with the key value association. That means every value have its corresponding key. So we are going to discuss practically. So only the thing you have to remember in dictionaries, every value having a corresponding key value. So by using this key value, we have to extract the data. Directly you can't extract. In arrays, we are extracting the data by using the indexes, whereas in dictionary, we have to extract the data by using key value pair, whereas a sets. Sets are unordered collection of unique values. So arrays and sets difference is that in arrays, you can maintain the elements in order. In which order you added the element, in the same order, the elements will exist. Order is a guarantee, but elements can be duplicated. That means array having the compatibility to maintain the duplicate values, whereas a sets doesn't maintain any duplicate values. So sets must be unique value, but only the thing you can't give the guarantee of orders. Let's say if I'm going to add an element in one particular orders in array, I'm sure 100% that I will get the elements in the same order. But in sets, when you are maintaining an element, when you are adding the element in one particular order, you can't give the guarantee that you will get the elements in same order. So arrays will be maintained ordered element, whereas a sets will be maintained unordered elements. In arrays, elements can be exist duplication. Duplication can be exist, whereas in sets there is no duplicate. Unique values will be exist. So dictionary is entered different from these two. In dictionary, the data is going to maintain based on what? Keys. So these are the three types of collections: arrays, dictionary, sets. Most probably without these two or three we can't use. Arrays and dictionary more frequently used. Sets are the combination, like some specific requirements are there where you want to maintain the unique elements, then only we are going to go for the sets. These are three type of collections. Then array, dictionaries and sets in SIFT are always clear about the type of the data and keys are going to store. So the meaning is that whenever you are trying to use arrays, dictionary or sets, you should know what type of data you are going to maintain, what type of key elements you are going to maintain. Everything should be clear. Then this means that you cannot insert a value of the wrong type into a collection by mistake. So let's say if you are going to create a dictionary with the key value pair of string or string of int, then you have to maintain in the same order. You can't change the thing, or you by mistake you can't enter, because already we discussed that type checking will be there, safe checking will be there. What type of elements you are going to maintain, the same type of element it has to be maintained. Otherwise it's not going to work. Then shift array sets and dictionary types are implemented as a generic. I already mentioned a point that it can maintain any type. So it's not related to integer, character, float. It can maintain any type. These are the things. In shift dictionaries or in shift arrays or sets, you can maintain any kind of data. It is a generic implementation. Okay. Then we can apply var let to any collection type. So it's like a similar variable type only. When you are creating an array, you can make var array or let array. You can create a dictionary, var dictionary or let dictionary. You can create a set, var set or let. So what is the difference? Simple. If you are created mutable type, then it is possible to modify the data. That means var is always allows to change, whereas a let is constant, right? Same. So in place of var let, we are going to use two standard keywords called mutable, immutable. So if you want to create a mutable variable, then it is a var type. If you want to create an immutable variable, then it should be the let type. The difference is that mutable means it will allows to perform some kind of operations of insertion, deletion, modification. So modifications can allowed on only mutable type, whereas immutable type doesn't allows to modify anything. It's a top question, mutable versus immutable. Immutable means you can't do any kind of insertion, deletion, updation operation, whereas a mutable will allows insertion, deletion, and updating also. This is the thing. So how to create a mutable in Shift? Just you have to apply the var to the array or dictionary or set. By default, it became mutable. If I am creating an array set or dictionary by using the let keyword, then it became the immutable type. Then working with arrays. So what is array? Array is a shift. Arrays in shift is used to store an ordered collection of values of any type. We can have more than one type in an array. So in C++, array is a collection of similar data type elements in a particular order, whereas in shift it can be ordered and it can having any type of data values. This is so it's a long things to go with the array. Arrays are not so. So I'm not going to move into dictionary or sets. First, we will work on the arrays. Okay, fine. Can we go with the coding?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. I think it's open in the wrong window. Can see my Xcode, right? Okay. Create a new playground. Working with array. or simply give the standard name array playground, and make sure that you are going to store this particular playground in your repository. You have a repository yesterday you created, so you must and should go and store this particular playground in this particular repository only. Okay, then create it. So once you created a playground, you can check in your repository that is the repository. See, these files are already generated, so it's already synced. So don't do anything with error. Go to this one. So foundation, then remove this one. So it's not a small topic, but so we have to go with one by one concepts. So first thing is creating an array. How we are going to create an array? What is the syntax to create an array? So when you are creating an array, it's similar to your variable creation itself. Let's say let means it is immutable array of integer colon int equals to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So the syntax is became var or let, whatever may be according to you, let or var array name colon type equals to value 1, value 2, value 3, so on. This is the syntax. Okay, if you want to create a string of array, let array of string. What do we have to do? Open string equals to like this. So you want to store anything, similar kind of approach. So syntax is nothing but let or array name type equals to something. Okay. Now the second one is how to create a empty array. Creating an empty array. So here I was already initialized the elements and I want to create an empty array without initialization. Okay, fine, not an issue. The syntax became var, because empty array means later you can modify, right? That's why I'm using var array name colon. So array name colon, in place of mentioning the type, what I can do equals to type initialize. It's empty array. No. Var of array of float equals to float open close. Var array of string1 equals to string of okay. Now if you want to create a optional, so if you want to create a optional, just you can mention the question mark there. We'll discuss this one in the later sections. Then the next syntax, creating an array with the default values. So when you are creating the array, it's possible that you can create that particular array with some default values also if you require. So how to create the array with the default values means var of array of default integer. Array of default integer. I want to create a default integer array of int equals to array class name. Then it has some its methods. So according to the behavior, we need number of elements. So I will use this one, array, a repeating of 5 of 10 elements. So the meaning is that default value is 5 for 10 elements. So if you created array like this, then also it's possible. Array is a class name here. Class name here. We'll discuss what is class, how to use this. Okay, now the next one, finding the length. So length means what? Length always returns number of elements in collection type. So let's say print array of integer dot, see, last lazy something is there, but I'm going to use count. So what it is going to print here? Let array of integer. How many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I'm going to ask what's the number of elements here, then it should be prints what? 5. You can check on the debug window, it's printed 5, and here also you can check that number of elements are 5. Then print array of string dot count. So free because balututorial.com, right? And what is the next one? Empty array, right? Okay, go with the empty array. Print array of float dot count. So it's empty float array. So number of elements are what? 0. There is no elements array exist. Then print of array of string 1 dot count. Here it is also default, so it's empty. Then you create a default integer, right? Then print array of default integer dot count. So 10 elements are there, but if you print this value, print array of default integer values, then see here, because here what we did, we created an array of 10 elements with a repeated value 5. That means all 10 elements has a repeated value 5. So creating array with the default values, so all 10 elements having 5 5 5.
One question, that is the array
Yeah.
of default integers, which you mentioned that array repeating 5 and count is 10. Can we use that for a very large volume of data?
Yes, it's dynamic.
Oh, okay.
Just you have to make sure you have an integer type. So integer maximum capacity, whatever you hold, that means is 64 or 32 according to that one. Yes, it can be dynamic because everything is a runtime memory management. It can be maintained lakhs of values also. We don't have any problem. It's not like a Turbo C editor or the small set of editor. It's up to you. It's everything is a dynamic. You can maintain lakhs of values. No problem at all.
Okay.
Okay. Now, element access. So we have a different arrays actually. Just remember the names. Array of integer, array of string, array of float, array of string, array of default values. Okay. Now I want to access one element from array of string. We have 3 elements, right, in array of string. So if I want to print everything, what I can do now, print array of string. Then it prints, see, complete list. It's printed complete list. Everything is printed. Now I want to print first element. Print array of string index of 0, first element. I want to print the last element. Print array of string last element 0 1 2 2. The best way to do like this, print array of string, I can say array of string dot count -1. Any problem? So here I given the static value because I know the number of elements, how many exist and what is the last element index, but it can be crash sometimes. For example, you are imagining that, okay, my array has a 5 elements and you are trying to access fourth one, last element, but by mistake due to some issues, maybe the 5 elements are not there, only 4 elements are there, and when you say index of 4, application will crash. Again, I will repeat the question. So assume that there is an array of 5 elements. You thought that all 5 elements are exist. In order to access the last element, you give an array index of 4, whereas due to some internal reasons, it has created only 4 elements. So in place of 5 elements, it is created only 4 elements. So when it's created only 4 elements, 0, 1, 2, 3. That means the last index is 3, but you said index of 4, application state away crash. Then come to the next line. This is a full safe statement. Why? There is no static value, dynamic calibration. Okay, I thought that I have a 5 elements and we create internally it created 4 only. Then if you say index of 4 crash, now this statement doesn't crash. Why? Array of string dot count. So count will return number of elements. How many elements are created? Only 4 is created. So 4 is created and I will say 4 minus 1. So it will access 3 directly. So whenever you want to access the last element of the array, better to go with this particular approach. Count minus 1 is a standard way to do. Don't try to give the last element index directly. Okay. Then so still we have some other concepts also. So in order to access the first or last element, we have some standard procedure. What is that? Print array of string dot first. Print. So in place of using the index of 0, you can do like this also. Array of string comma dot last. So it prints same result means yes, it prints same results. So it is saying that expression implicitly string to any. So here what we have to do in order to as string. So warnings are it does not do nothing. What's wrong with this one? Let me try as any. We have this concept later. Let me just simply make sure element. Okay, I will tell you later because as is there, downcasting, upcasting is there. I will tell you, but for now, don't do anything. So this first and last are going to return the dynamic generic types actually. So when in order to return the generic type, it is saying that, so it is returning the string. So better to make it any, but don't do anything. Just keep it like this. So the first is always return the first element, whereas the last is going to return always the last element. Then checking empty status check. So how to check one particular collection type is empty or not? Print. So what is that? Array of string dot is empty. Is it empty? This one is empty. See the definition. Is it empty?
No.
No. So when you say array string of empty, see here, this is your declaration. So select the thing, okay, control key, and if you see jump to definition, it will go to here. Or if you say show quick help, then it gives you syntax declaration of that. So because the code will be lengthy, like thousands of lines of code will be there, in order to execute or in order to go there, simply select that one, jump to definition, it will go there. Or else if you want to see the declaration, just okay. So it should be returns what? False actually, because it's not empty. So it's returning false. And check it returning false. Oh, now we have empty strings, right? Print of array of string one dot is empty. So this should be true because it is empty. So what is this is empty means? It's a simple. If count is 0, it's called empty. If the length of the array is a 0, then it is called empty. So whenever you have the empty, then it is going to return true. So in order to check or in order to access, where is the scenario here? This one. So when you say array of string 0 on empty string, application will crash. If you want to check, we can do this one on this particular string. Now it's a crash. Check, it's crash. Execution was interrupted, reason bad access instruction. Got the point? Because this is 0, I mean number of elements are 0, I'm trying to access the first element. So in order to do this one, what is a safe actually? If of is empty, right, and make it not empty. This makes sense, right? Because I was discussed this one. Printing the last element directly with the index is a possibility of crashes. Safe statement to write like this: array of string dot count minus 1. Whereas accessing the first element also possibility of crash on empty collection type. So decide in order to access the first element, make safe check first. What is the safe check? If of array of string dot is empty, not is empty. So if it is not empty, then access the first element. If it is empty, leave it. So now this statement will not execute it. It's not going to print. It's not going to print because it is empty. Finish. Yes. Yeah, then go ahead. So these are the basic operations, right? So creating, accessing, what is a safe checks, but this is not actual operation, right? We have some additional operation, like if I consider these two, it's are empty. So why you created empty? Because I want to use these things in further implementation. So I was created initially empty, but later on I want to add something, I want to delete something. But here these are the constant types. So these are the constant type means what? It is immutable, which is already initialized. I can't perform any kind of insertion, deletion, modification of data. So if you are trying to do something here, let's say array of integer of 2 equals to 40, state await gives error. It cannot assign because it is what? It is a immutable type. So if you created immutable type, in the sense it doesn't allow to you do any kind of operation, because it is a let type which is already initialized. But if you created a mutable type, these are the mutable where it can allows you to do some operations. Okay, so continuation, adding the element. So how to add the element or how to insert the element? So we have the type, what is that? So array of string, right? Array of string 1 dot append. So append, I will say new element ww. Okay, then I will add one more element, array of string 1 dot append. Okay, yes. one more, then array of string one more element, tutorial, then array of string dot amend one more element. So if you seen I was missing something, but I will tell you why I'm missing something here. Now I will say here I'm going to say print array of string one dot count. We'll say print array of string one dot is empty. Right? After the operation, again I will say print array of string one dot count, print array of string one dot count. Right? Now, if you execute it here, this statement is printed 0. See here, this particular statement printed 0, this value 0, and the next statement printed as true because it's empty, and these all are I'm amending. When it has a first element, then it is only ww. When it has a second element, ww balu, which has a third element, ww balu tutorial, then it has a fourth element, ww balu tutorials. Okay, then it's has. Okay, so if you seeing the playground is a super smart playground. In the right side, if you expand the playground, you will get all the information, right? It's working according to our expectation. But okay, then my question, I'm trying to pull out this particular information in the proper format, but after ww, a dot is missing. So at 0 is a ww is there, whereas the next one should be the dot which is missing. But next one, so what is my intention? I want to insert dot in between these two. Got my requirement?
Yes, sir.
So in between the elements, I want to insert something, right? So if I want to insert something on a specific position, then what I have to do, I have to perform this particular operation. Inserting and removing to a specific index. Okay, go ahead. Let's say array of, so we have to inject dot after ww before balu. That means it is a 0 index position. Index 0 and it is index 1 in between these two. That means I want to inject at index 1. Okay, then what I have to write here, what I have to say to compiler, array of string dot insert new element. What is that new element? Dot. Where you have to inject, at 0 or at 1? Where we have to insert this dot, at 0 or at 1?
At 1.
At 1. Then after this statement, if you see, sorry, see after this statement, if you see ww dot, it's printed dot here. Okay, then one more dot is required here also. Is that index of 2, index of 3. So I want to place one more dot after tutorials, and here array of dot insert a new element, one more dot at the position of P. So what's going to happen here when you say insert 1, then whatever the existing element is there, it will force to the next element, it moves to the next one, and then newly element will be injected there, and the same thing is going to happen. So after this one, if you see your element, it has like this www.balu.tutorials. This is wrong, I have to place somewhere, right? Why it is injected here? 0 1 2 3. Why this dot is injected in middle? We did anything wrong here? Maybe I'm thinking my playground is showing wrong. String. Okay. The problem is, can you explain me what's the problem? Guys.
It should be fourth position.
Yeah, but what's the problem actually? See, whatever the index you are pointing 3, this is before modification, right? When you added this one, when we added this element, positions are changed, right? One more new element is added, right? So it should be go with 4 actually. Got the point? Everyone understood the issue?
Yeah, yeah.
Initially it was 3, but when you added a one element, it's already added another element. So 0 dot is 1, Balu is 2, tutorial 3, next one. That's why it's a problem. Now finally we got like this. It's fine, looks like fine. But I was wondering that, oh, I did some wrong here. I want to make Balu tutorial.com, not tutorials. So I was made a mistake. So this one is a wrong actually. Okay. Now this is a wrong. I can modify or I can delete and inject also. So what is my requirement? I want to delete this one right now. So I will say array of dot remove all, delete everything. But I don't want to delete everything, right? So array of string remove at. So what is the indexes right now? If you see in this one, it's a 0, it's a 1, it's 2, it's 3, it's 4, it's 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3. This element I want to remove. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So I will say remove 3. So after removing 3, let's say print of array of this one. Then so it's removed. Now I want to insert 0, 1, 2. At position of 3, I want to insert new one. Is that array of string 1 dot insert tutorial, not tutorials, at the position of 3. Then I will say print array of string 1. Right, balututorial.com. So in place of doing like this, I think we can do straight away like this also. What was the index of that element? 3, right? 3 equals to tutorial modifying. So you can modify directly. So in place of doing these all things, removing and adding the new element. So here you remove one element, then after removing you did this one, right? In place of doing this all things, still you can manage like this. Print. You got the new text or not? Right? So whenever you have a modification, in place of modifying, modifying first, removing the element, after removing the element, then again adding the next element, it doesn't make sense. I know what is the index of that element, directly straight away, you can assign the data also. Directly you can modify the existing value also. This is the accessing and modifying the element. Okay. Any doubts on up to here?
One question. For
Yeah.
the entire process to happen, where to delete or remove or add, append anything, the array must be mutable, right?
Yes,
never
that's
be.
the thing, right? Nah, that's a primary thing. That's why I was created when I started example. I was created two different things because this is a requirement. If it is immutable, you can't do anything. Only you can access. Only you can print the length. Only you can print the elements, but you can't do any kind of insertion, deletion, modification. So it must be mutable type only to perform this one. And I'm right now I'm performing on the string, right? You can perform on anything. It's not like what are the another immutable type. Okay, this one, array of the default integer. See, array of default integer dot array, remove, insert, all are same syntax because collections all are works on generic types. Okay, so it's clear, Ramesh?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now go ahead, continuation mark.